Hello there. Welcome to yet another podcast, Data and Debate. However, there will not be data today and there will be no debates because I am with Olutando Kalada. He is, wow, he's a lot of things when he introduced himself. Well, first of all, he is a CEO of a company, I think it's two companies because they're separate, right? It's New Horizon
Yeah,
and
two
it's
companies.
Liku Creations. He is a husband. He was very proud to announce that he's a husband. He is a father of three beautiful children. He's an aspiring filmmaker. He's a musician. He's a facilitator, and he's an actor. Let me not say. Let me not say, and he's an actor. He's an actor, etc. Like there's a lot to
Yeah,
say about him, but do the talking. So hi, sir. Welcome to our podcast.
thank you for having me, Sissy. I'm glad to be here.
Are you glad?
I'm very glad to be here. Trust me on that one.
Uh,
I'm
Thank you.
honored. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, that's so cute. But thank you so much for, taking your time because I'm sure you're a busy man. I'm sure you had 100 other things to do, but you chose to be here. And I do not take that for granted. I truly appreciate that. But yes, tell me and the listeners about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And just, yes, where are you based? Are you based in the Western Cape?
Yeah, my name is Lutando Kalat. I'm based in the Western Cape. I own Liku Creations. That is an Ltd company, a private company, and then the NPO is New Horizon. Yonage, it is a training or a capacity training on a spectrum of filmmaking, looking at camera operation, editing, script writing, directing, and all of that jazz. But Liku Creations is more on business. It's more on producing. It's more on creating a product from production to from pre-production to production to post-production.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm many things, but I'm more creative. But I spend more time on New Horizon than Uliku Creations because on New Horizon I'm facilitating and I'm training there. Yeah, but we'll talk some other things a little bit later.
Right. So why Liku
Mm.
Creations? Why did you decide to give your company Liku Creations? Because I'm aware that one of your children, it's like it's the get of one of your children. And I was like, I don't know how I would feel if my mom or dad named their company after my sibling and not me. So why Liku Creations? I know, but because of the child.
Yeah. Liko is my firstborn boy, and I've got two
Oh,
girls after him, Luluto and Uanja. But Liko Creations is coming definitely from Liko because the intention and
oh,
the vision here it is to make it a Indoya family. It is a let's say it's how can I put it? It is an empire that I'm trying to bring up and build up for him and his seeds, let's say my generation. So there's a tendency
right,
of opening business and we don't teach our children and get them in the groove. So I am teaching him some cameras and some editing as well. He is 9 years old. So I just want him to have an idea of what I'm doing. So yes, the company is named after him with a vision of building an empire that he will take over someday because I will be absent, but he will be there more time than me because I'm reaching 50 now. So if Lego is
you
there to take care of the empire,
you look me too.
it is.
You look
I'll be 50 very soon.
wow.
That, that,
It must be good genes.
it's a good diet actually. Good diet
Good diet
and rest. Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah. So Liku Creations is named after Liku. He's not excited about that, surprisingly. I'm telling him the vision and the objectives and all of that. He just said, "Oh, okay, that's good, Dad." He's not like, "Wow, the company is after my name." And he sees the videos on television on Channel O and all of that, like produced by Liku Creations, this by Liku Creations. He said, "Oh, okay, I was there when you were shooting that video," and then he goes and plays soccer outside. But I think he
wow.
will grasp it as the time goes by.
Certainly. I don't think yet. I think he's too young to, see the
Mm.
vision that you have. I'm actually glad that you're teaching him those skills because I feel like in this life that we're living now and how job opportunities are going and stuff like that, I feel like yes, education is originally the key to
mm,
success. But I feel like now having a skill, being able to have a skill and honing that
mm,
skill will lead you to, a better life, and a better
mm,
financial stance rather than, going through the avenue of education. I'm not disregarding in their education, but it is
mm.
important to have a skill. And for him to have a father who can actually teach him that skill at quite a young age, that is amazing. So did you study film production? Did you study film
Yes, I
production?
did. Yes, I did my film production course in SAE in Woodstock. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
2017. I think between 2016 and 2017. That's where I did that. But I wanted to go at after. But there were complications regarding that. But I did my filmmaking in SAE Institute
Right.
in Woodstock.
Wait, when did you open the company? When did you establish Liku Creations?
Liku Creations was established long ago before Liku, but it was Elevation Productions before. We were partners regarding that one. So the other guys left the country. The other one went to Lesotho. I'm not sure the whereabouts of the other one, but I'm sure about Retabile, he is in Lesotho. So I ended up saying that let me just take it over. So I scrapped Elevation Productions and then I built Liku Creations and re-registered Liku Creations or the company as Liku Creations.
Okay. So
So
you did
it was
you
from,
mm,
yeah, let's say around about 2004 where we established, I think that was the time when we established Elevation Productions. And then Liku Creations as Liku Creations, I established it 2017.
okay, all right. So you studied film production while you were
Mm.
already in the industry of practicing film production.
Basically, I was not in an industry, but there was a movie that we're going to do with Ngabambeli Swane. May his soul rest in peace. He wrote that story of Robert Sobukwe. I was a producer, and I was going to be a director there. Mr. Shaheen Isaacs, I think he's a CEO or was a CEO of Skyhook Projects, a production that also shot the Persian Prince and The Rock and some other movies, blockbuster movies. So I was gonna work with him, Mr. Shine Isaacs. He's a
Wow.
cinematographer. So that's how it began. I think it was 2003, but we received some threats regarding the project because there were aspects of the project or information that was in the script that we were not supposed to actually put it out there. So
Oh,
that's when we couldn't do the project because we were receiving some calls. They are not private numbers; they are numbers, but the numbers that you couldn't call. The number would like say it doesn't exist, but that number can call you and say, "We know you live with this person." So it was kind of a conspiracy kind of a thing. If I would go deeper on that, you would think it's a film. So I rested a while after that project.
right.
I was not in the industry yet. I was trying to get into the industry because I loved writing a lot. So I did some
Oh,
research on Sobukwe, and all the information that we received about Sobukwe is not on the surface. I think that's where the problem began. After the threats, we thought, let us just lay low for a while. And then Elevation Production went silent and mute. Years later, then I established Liku Creations to go back to do
wow.
a film about
Wow.
soul. I will do it, but I will see how I will do that.
Wow. I actually forgot to mention, like, hence I said there's a lot that comes with you because I actually forgot to mention a very important thing, the fact that you're a writer. So, like, you
Yes, yes, I
you
am right.
you could write your own movie, act it out, and produce it
Mm.
yourself.
Yes, I can do that, but it's if you want a good product, you should have some people playing some roles. We can't
No,
do things yeah, but I would act it out like Tyler Perry and all of that, but it is not my kind of a style of filmmaking. If I write, and I ask a
so
director to come and direct. I ask, mm,
where does your passion lie amongst all these? You're clearly you're a jack of all trades when it comes to film
mm,
production and filmmaking, but where does your passion lie? What are you most passionate
um,
about?
surprisingly, my passion is on philosophy.
Is it?
Yeah, I love quotes. I love to read. When I'm down, I like to read a book and have a quote that I live with during the day. I look at a
Okay.
situation and come up with a quote. Look at things differently. I love philosophy slash wisdom. So my philosophical point of views, they and mingle with my creativity. that aspect of my life or myself and philosophy and being a creative person, it makes my cup to be very full. And there's a lot of stories that I would want to tell, stories that I would just create, stories that will just, teach people some lessons, to open people's eyes, some different perspectives. You standing this side, you see a nine, you stand that side, you see a six.
Eh,
That kind of a person that shows you a different perspective on a situation, using true stories or create my own fantasy stories. But I'm a philosopher. That's my passion. So
right.
everything else is hanging on there. If I write a song, it's on philosophical point of view. If I write a story, it's in a philosophical point of view. But
Yeah.
everything just hangs there. I think that is my passion.
Right. Okay. Wow. That is beautiful. You just made me feel less intelligent. You just made me less intelligent.
I
But
will not. I
okay.
not.
So, I wanted to ask, like, what inspired you to open or continue with the company of Liku Creations? Because initially, I thought that you opened it you just decided, but okay, let me open this film production company, not knowing that you continued from where you had left off. So, what made you
Mm.
continue after Omnia Eye Lesotho and Omnia went overseas? Like, what made you be like, oh, actually, you know what? I want to build my own legacy. What encouraged that in you? What made you feel compelled to build your own legacy, as you say?
Mm. If I would, let's say, completely let go of my dream, I would feel like a coward because I
Right.
can't see the future. I can't see the future. I know we had threats and all of that, but I would not make peace with myself without doing what I'm passionate of doing. I rather actually die for what I love, So going back to Liku Creations, there's a story of a woman that was burnt because were saying she's a witch. She was accused of being a witch. It happened a lot in late early 90s and late 90s. So I took that concept of a person that was burned as a witch and created a story about that, about ukuthwalwa kwamantombazane in ancient days, where a girl
Right.
is at the dam, she is taken, and she is to be wed with another old man. Those things are still happening. But I wrote a story revolving around this lady that was abducted and then tries to escape and escapes. The third time she is successful in her escape, and then people sees her, they sees her, and then they see this lady that is naked and half naked and with grass on the hair and dirty, without knowing that she escaped the abduction or the marriage that she didn't want. They burned the lady. So the story that I wrote, I thought if I would write this, I wouldn't want any production to shoot this, but only Liku Creations. That's where it began,
Wow.
because the dream was still there, but also the point of view of justice. I always like
Yeah.
to write stories at the end where you say justice served. And the
Yeah.
justice, on my point of view, should be men that bring justice in such matters when it comes to women. So in that story, it's a man that is standing up for that woman, not because she was his crush, but because of what happened to her. He
Yeah.
saw that the world does not have a place for justice for women. He
I mean,
ended up standing up for women.
wrong with that. Even if she was his crush, there's nothing wrong with that. You fight for love. You fight for
Yeah. Yeah, but the context of his, the context of his assistance, of him assisting this lady, or bringing assistance or justice for this lady. She On the script, I put or designed this character as a person that is sober minded, a person that is built upon a principle, because sometimes and most of the times we tend to do things emotionally. So he takes his emotions and put them aside. Okay, this was my crush, but it's not about that now it's about justice. He takes off that garment of the crush that he had for this lady,
mm,
and then he wears the jacket or the garment of justice. Then he deals with that crush later after she's dead and after he has served the justice. Then he deals with the feelings regarding this lady. So, that story tells us that, or teaches us, we should put feelings or emotions aside when we want to achieve something. You will feel
yeah.
good, you might feel bad, but emotions
To,
tend to stand on the way. So
to,
that's the context of that story. That's where Liku Creations was like, okay, let's rise like a phoenix from the ashes, and then we take it
to,
from there.
I hear you. I also believe in, being logical and leading by logic, because I feel like emotions
Mm,
can lead you astray. Emotions can lead you astray. And I feel like
mm,
that's the mistake that people make in life, especially because we take everything so emotionally rather than logically. But yeah,
exactly.
there's just a lot to that. But yeah. So what
Mm.
what projects have you worked on? Like what because you did mention that, your son would see maybe a music video playing on Channel O or Mzansi Magic Music. What productions have you worked on? And
We legal Yeah, Liku Creations has not produced any film yet. There was
right,
another film we attempted to do. It's called No More Virgins, but the funding of that project depleted,
right,
and there were a lot of issues. But that was before COVID, so COVID
right.
as well played a huge role on destroying that project.
It
And
did.
one of the main actors, yeah, and one of the main actors as well passed away. So it was hard to go back and to the drawing board and say, okay, because we shot 80% of the film and this person
Uh,
appears throughout, so it's gonna be difficult to reshoot. It's gonna be very expensive, so we scrapped it. But there are a lot of projects that we are busy now on the drawing board. Projects
mhm.
that hey,
Amazing.
projects that if we release them, it will shake the world. Projects that if we release them, yeah, it's another perspective of filmmaking. It's another perspective of story or telling and writing. We are cooking something very, very, very heavy. There is another director, Bongani Malchas. He was an assistant director at the film The Woman King. There's
Mhm.
a project as well that we are busy together. There will be projects that will be busy together. So yeah, man. Basically, we're still on the drawing board. We do have scripts, but now we are gathering crew and actors so that everything can be ready. But regarding the music videos, for now, or in the meantime, that's what I was doing. Shooting the music videos, submitting them on Channel O. I've worked with Rabs Bafui. I've worked with many artists in the elocution in the communities, and also Ospi Jojo, and some many more artists that I shoot videos for. So for now, we're just shooting music videos to keep the game going. But regarding the filmmaking aspect, that will be from 2024 upwards.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm looking forward to watching the movies and the music video as well, because I feel like a music video, obviously it's shorter than a movie. It's like 5 minutes, 3 minutes,
Mm,
4 minutes, depending on
mm,
how long the song is, but it can have such a strong message behind it. So I'm
mm,
definitely looking forward to seeing those productions. But I don't know if you're aware of this, but the movie industry, it's kind of losing money because now people people watch YouTube and movies. We download movies illegally. I don't know if I can't be held liable most for that, because I also do it. I'm a student, so I'm not going to pay for a movie. Okay, I'm not going to pay for a
mm,
movie. I download it. I know it's ethically wrong because so much work has gone into that. But ke ngoku, knowing this, that the movie industry is running at a loss, but not that much,
mm.
because there are things like Netflix and stuff like that. But what makes you stay so positive and think that you could carry on this legacy, like your children could carry on this legacy? Because I don't know if there will be films made in the future if people now are like watching vlogs, because people are more into vlogging and those kind of stuff. So how yeah, like how positive are you that the movie and film production legacy will keep on giving for years, centuries to come?
Yeah. I'm gonna address this on my perspective, from my own
Yeah.
perspective. Um, 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 Movie industry is I can't say it's losing a lot of money. Yes, it is losing a lot of money, but there are the way different ways of generating revenue regarding that. For an example, YouTube is another undermined platform that creates a lot of revenues for many productions. And
Right.
secondly, Netflix is creating a lot of revenue. as well. So I think what
Of
loses
course.
money a lot is cinema. Cinema is losing a lot of money. And before Netflix was there, movie industry was even making awareness, about guys we are losing money. Even music industry was, guys, we're losing money. Don't do this. Don't pirate and all of that. But you don't see much of that piracy anymore. Yes, we can download a movie there, you can download the movie there, but that will fade away as the time goes by, because technology as well is gonna have
Right.
some end to end encryption when it regarding
Cool.
to the downloading. Some you will end up not be able to download, but I know the artist gurus as well, or the IT gurus will find ways to crack,
Yeah.
that code. And yeah, but I think what loses money a lot is cinema. Cinema is losing a lot of money. I'm talking about Stekonico, New Metro, and all of that. So sometimes it's hard for them to just buy any production, because they can't just say, okay, we're taking Liku Creations film. It's the first time we're hearing of Liku Creations. We can't risk ourselves because we don't know if people will come and give us our money back, as a
Yeah.
cinema. We rather take 21st Century Fox, or we rather take Columbia Pictures movies first, or Disney. So but itself filmmaking is growing immensely. It's growing, especially on
Right.
YouTube and Netflix and the other platforms as well. So,
Right.
but on my end, it is more of a passion than revenue. It is more on passion than revenue. And there are other streams and other businesses that I do. For an example, I'm an innovator as well. I have a product that I'm working on that will allow a person to top up their electricity wherever they are in South Africa. Even if you are in Zimbabwe, you can just top up your box, your voucher, and your box will be filled with a voucher that you just bought. So that's another project I'm doing. There's a restaurant I'm busy with.
What can you
There's a
not do?
restaurant.
You're making me feel
I
happy. Ingati, I don't
There are
know.
a
I'm
lot of
not doing my life. What can you not
no.
do?
There are a lot of things that I cannot do. There are a lot of things that I cannot do. I cannot draw. There are a lot of things, but maybe we might talk about those later. But there is a restaurant that I'm busy opening now with my wife. It's called Bread and Cold. It's more organic, kind of a little caro flavor fried chicken with no rolls, but a roasted bread,
Okay.
and some chakalaka and all, like a little caro flavor with garlic, marinated meat with green onion. That farm graafrenet flavor of braai
Yes.
and bread. Yeah, that's why we call it bread and cold. So it is not. I am not only in the filmmaking. The filmmaking aspect is my passion. It's my
Your
soul.
passion.
Even if even if there's money or not, I have to say something to the world. So from my perspective, cinema is losing a lot of money, but most of the production companies, they make a lot of revenue in different platforms online.
True.
So that's my take regarding that.
True. Okay. So, there's this thing because I'm a journalism student, and what I've
Mm,
noticed is that there's mainstream and then there's
mm,
these marginalized let me
mm,
say the marginalized stream.
mm,
How do you now, because now this is your company, you created this company. um
mm,
Actually, no, let me put it this way.
mm,
How would you advise someone who wants to start, a production company? Because
mm,
my boss, Umis Mahlanyane, the CEO of Ukisima Radio,
mm,
she believes
mm,
that graphic design is to
mm,
you have to work for yourself. You have to be
mm,
self-employed. You have to build your
mm,
own empire and not to work for someone else. But of course, yeah, you can
mm,
start off by working for someone, but then you go build your own brand. So
mm,
how is there any unfairness in, because I know as a journalist, I know in terms of news reporting, I know that there is unfairness. There are these
mm,
marginalized communities that are barely ever reported on. But is it the same with
mm.
film productions? Are there films that are marginalized and not um you know not much noise being made of because of the names that are on the movies or are not on the movies?
Mm. Yeah, it's a very let's say complicated subject. Yes, there
Yeah.
is marginalization. There is that marginal line in filmmaking, and even across the board, any industry. music, journalism, as you say, acting as well. Everything is marginalized. However, there's always space for everyone. Amazingly,
Mm,
there's always space. For an example, New Horizon and Liku Creations, they want to produce more attractive content for Cape Town TV. We
okay.
want to produce. We are in talks in that regard. We want to produce the level of Mzansi Magic or even Netflix kind of productions for Cape Town TV. We know Cape Town TV has got some good educational programs, but regarding the film, aspect, they are
Yes,
still trying their best to get there.
yes.
So Liku Creations wants to close that gap. Liku
Oh,
Creations and New Horizon, because we want to train students from the communities in a level of a degree regarding the knowledge in that level of having to know the technology to use and the doors to knock in or to knock
mm,
at. So what we want to do, we want to produce filmmakers. We don't want to produce videographers. There's a difference there. A videographer is someone that holds a camera steady and make sure that you are captured. But a cinematographer, just to create a story with the
mm,
camera movement and all of that, we want to produce that kind of filmmakers. So,
right.
Iluku Creations ke ngoku, regarding the margining ke ngoku, ne, we want to say, we are saying to Cape Town TV, let's try to work together. We'll produce good content for you. And then you see from your side what you can do for us monetary wise. How are you going to charge us regarding the quality and the content? If you want the Netflix quality, how are you going to charge us, or how are we going to charge you? So let's try to make a relationship. Let's take it from there, and then we invite the Arts of Culture, Department of Arts and Culture. We invite DTI. We say, look, we want to produce Western Cape to be a spectacle, in South Africa regarding filmmaking. Invest in this, So that is the plan of Legal Creations. Inwelo Cinema, another partner of mine as well, and the
Yeah.
New Horizon. New Horizon will create filmmakers, and then Legal Productions and Inwelo Cinema will market them, will show them the business side of filmmaking. So if that does not work, we have to create our own monopoly as Black people in our communities. If it comes to push and shove, let's create our own channel, our own media station, where you can say after SABC and DS, there are other channels that you can watch and get content from, and you subscribe from those content. If the content is good, people will subscribe. People want to get entertained, as long as you know your craft, number one. Okwesibini, after you know your craft, you must be consistent in knowing how to produce a quality and beautiful content for any platform that can actually be, um, you know, coming to you and say we want you to produce something. So we are in those talks. We are trying to close that gap of saying, okay, cinema doesn't want us. We don't have a experience.
Mm,
White people are having a lot of stake regarding filmmaking industry. How can we build our own industry? I think that's where it begins. If we're gonna, show our hands all the time begging and doing all this kind of stuff and trying to ask around, that help is
yes.
not going to come. Let's just come
Yeah.
with a proposal and say, here's the objective of this proposal. We want to create filmmakers, and these filmmakers will create and produce quality, not just quality, international quality for your channel. How much are you
Mm,
willing to give these young people? So that's the direction that Liku Creations, Inwelo Cinema, and also New Horizon wants to actually endeavor on.
yeah. That's the thing. You just
Mm,
mentioned international quality. Why is it that
mm,
us South Africans, we would much rather watch, Hollywood movies than South African
mm,
movies? Is it about
mm,
Hollywood that is so amazing? Because I feel like
mm,
anyone can have, not anyone, but like anyone has talent. It's not only in America. Why is it that South
mm,
Africans worship, the film productions made in America?
mm,
Why can't we
mm,
as South Africans have the same standard of a production as, because
mm,
I remember, I don't know, I don't watch these things, but I think it's the Queen. I think it's the
mm,
Queen. I think it's the Queen.
mm,
No, 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 no. I think it's the Queen where Ukanyimba was acting with this guy.
mm,
I think it was a taxi driver or something like that, shooting guns. I'm not sure. No, it's
mm,
not the
mm,
Queen. It's the Queen. But Miss, there's this thing. But now this is going to be a controversial topic. But there was this
mm,
sex
mm,
between Okanye and this guy. And then people were like, oh, wow, this is Hollywood quality, this kind of, we don't see these kind of scenes in South African movies. But I'm thinking we have so much talent in South Africa, in Africa as whole, actually. We have so much talent. Why is it that, Africans have to worship Hollywood? Because we can produce those things. Because I feel like that was a show, Bana. Actually, we can produce those type of things. But I also think that maybe we could be a bit behind because it could be a brow razor. But I think we need to get with the. I feel like South African soapy and drama productions, they are still stuck on that 1998 generations type of vibe. And I feel like we're not moving with the seriously. Like what generations, it's still the same. Oh Queen, like why are we not moving forward? Why are there no new initiatives like isn't as interesting and young people that can actually enjoy them? Because how many young people watch generations and Uzalo? It's just our parents. Why can't they include? I feel like they're not inclusive.
Exactly. Yeah, but also, so regarding what I say in terms of Hollywood standard, I'm talking
Mm,
about quality regarding resolution of the picture, the quality,
mhm.
balanced lighting of the production, perfect casting, wardrobe, makeup, everything regarding the production, creation perspective. But I'm also, I don't want to lie, I think I'm going to be a little bit controversial. I'm also
Right.
irked, if I can put it that way, by the concept of a content in South Africa where there's always guns, there's always ipa,
Vibe.
rapa, someone that is, hey, someone has to rape someone has to shoot someone in the head, someone has to be, there are a lot of stories that we can tell, there are a lot of stories that we can tell, but I don't want, esiXhoseni, I don't andifuni ukwazi ngikaphume ehlathini, but let me say this. There is a heroic story that we are busy with now. Ne?
Right.
It's called the Bangui, the Bangui Battle of Bangui of 2023, where
Right.
200 South African soldiers fought with more than 3,000 rebels. Only 13 from that 200 died. And from the rebel side, I think it was 700 to 800 that died from the 200 of South
Wow.
African standard, guys. So that means our guys are well trained, but there's a
Exactly.
story in between, because these guys, my friend, I'm going to mention his name. He said, "Don't mention me when you talk about this production because he's the one that brings the story on the table."
Okay.
He is in the department as well of
We can.
South African Force. Yeah. So Uti, Jeff, what I gathered from those guys was bravery. The way a bullet goes out of your gun is different when it comes back. You know,
Oh,
the way the bullet goes out of your gun, it's different mentally and emotionally. But when that bullet comes
oh,
from the other side and comes back to you, it's another emotion. So imagine now you're having this complication that your mind is trying to reconcile with itself, that it's different to feel it when it goes out, it's different when it comes in. um Now from the standpoint of a soldier, you need to be brave and stand, because
mm,
when that bullet passes your ear, a normal human being would tremble and run away.
of course.
But those guys, because of bravery and love for each other, and love for their country, they stood the 3,000 guys while they are 200. So
I
that
think
is a
even
story to tell. Exactly. That's a story to tell. There are a lot of love stories that we can tell. I don't wanna lie, from my production, we're not gonna do much of gangster kind of a kasi movie where someone takes a car and hijacks and do all of those things. It is not my perspective of.
it's
That's why I said ekuqaleni, philosophy, philosophy does not drive you to that direction a lot. Yokuba kukhona eliphara kwathini kwathini kwathini. But what I'm trying to say, my sister, is that a content that is Hollywood standard in my spectacle is a content that when you are watching it, a light, your picture is balanced, a
mm,
makeup is beautiful, it's not overdone, the consistency of characters, the climax of a character, the main character,
mm,
the introduction of this character and other supporting characters. If Hollywood has mastered that, we have to clap hands for them in regarding that. They've mastered there's a movie that I've watched, No One Will Save You. Ne?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, in that movie, there's not even one word that is said in that movie for the whole hour. Not
Is
even
it?
one word that is said. Yeah, you should check
But
it out. You should check it out.
no word said, but you heard
After
every
twa,
but you heard
there's
every word.
action. You exactly. Yabona ke? That's
No,
like
but
yakuthanda
you
ke
heard every word.
exactly. So there's no, articulation there. It's a playing of emotions. This girl runs away from this alien and hides herself. This alien looks for her, and there are sounds that are, created by this alien. The lighting in the room, blue and orange, and this girl, is having a different facial expression when the light is orange. When the light is blue, she's having a different, facial expression. That is what I'm talking about when I say Hollywood, the acting, the character, and all of that. We are actually in South Africa. We are there, but we need to understand that if Hollywood produces that kind of quality, we can't hit under that because people are used to Hollywood. They are used
Exactly.
to how things are. They are used to be entertained. If I come with something that is boring, I can't. Okay, let me not mention it. I might be sued. Let me not mention what I was going to mention, but I can't watch something that is under the bar. You know, it has to
Mm.
be either on the bar or above the bar. So that's
Oh,
what I'm trying to say, you know, to not get petty. There's a lot of powerful and beautiful productions there, and they are Hollywood standards. We can't
mm.
produce something that is less than that. You can see, this person is not in character. This person is not well make up. You can hear the sound and the dogs barking as they are shooting this movie on the background. That is a turn off for an audience. It's a
Oh,
subliminal, turn off. You don't know why this movie bores you. You can see people chasing and shooting each other, but it's boring you. It is because of
mm.
how it was created. There were film laws that were not followed. That's what I mean regarding the Hollywood standard. Film laws
Mm.
and rules on set,
But
the camera set, everything.
could it be that maybe Hollywood has more revenue to actually produce
Mm,
those type of films? Because Galoko, South Africa and its economy and stuff like that, it could be like, I'm not totally blaming them in that regard. Because maybe
mm,
it could be, finances and stuff like that. But it's very beautiful
yeah,
listening to you talking about, the film production. Because, as with journalism, we did have, production modules and stuff like that, but I was just never
yeah,
interested. I was just never interested, Chip. I, now,
yeah,
I hated it so much when we had to do documentaries. Come, yo, yo,
yeah.
yo.
Ooh,
I would go to
documentaries,
get.
I work.
I would just do
Mm.
it. One of those people in Jai Convert in the background, ethetha.
Oh.
Anyway, anyway. Um, okay, we've spoken so much about Liku Creations. Now let's jump on to New Horizons. So what kind of people do you like recruit? What kind of talent are you looking for?
Mm. Now, New
These
Horizon is
skills is
looking. Yeah, you don't have to have a skill, but you gotta have a passion for filmmaking. You gotta have
okay.
a passion for filmmaking, even if you're having a passion for theater, because New Horizon is not. Theater is not our mandate according to our constitution. However, we do step on that spectrum as well, in theater, because there are things called blocking. On stage, we use blocking as well on set regarding book shoot I film with the camera and actors. So there are theatrical aspects that we use. However, New Horizon focuses on abandwana or young people and old people. When I say old, up to 150 years old. If you want to do filmmaking but you didn't have a chance, and you are a magogo that wants to present a film, you want to write something that you
So
wanted,
wrong.
we welcome you. We give you the skill.
So wrong. What Makoko? You're already discriminating. What do you mean, Makoko?
Uh-uh. You know what I mean, man. You know what I mean. So even if you are 150 years old, ne, and you had a passion to be a filmmaker, we give you that skill. We give you even our connections. That if you want to hire gear, this is where you can get a discount. If you want to hire a gear, with the skills that you have that we gave you. So from Kubandwana that are doing standard 6, which is grade 8. I'm not good with grades. I'm an 80s baby. From grade 8 to grade 12,
That's
standard
pretty
6. Yeah, from 13,
14.
13 years old. 14, yeah. From 14, as long as you are in grade 8
Okay.
and up to metric. I know immatriculants, they are very busy, but it's a developing concept or module, because from umdana or grade 8 is not going to learn the same thing when that child is in grade 10 in our program.
Oh,
When that child is in grade 10 in our program, it goes with the years. It
so
develops
that
as a module. Yeah, it develops as a module, and then after we are done with these kids, quarterly, we are having festivals. Quarterly, we're having festivals showcasing their work. And then when they're in metric, we negotiate in universities for them if they want to study further for filmmaking. We say, okay,
oh,
this is what we did with this child. This is what we did with this student. He is applying. In fact, we are endeavoring to, um, in a process of applying for them ourselves. An organization applies on behalf of a student or the participants that we have. So
uh,
even if now you are not at school, but you are a young person, we welcome you. Even if you are a drug addict, we welcome you. Even whoever that is interested in filmmaking, we do give you the platform, we do give you the skills to develop from grassroots, from
uh,
how to turn the camera on, from how to zoom in and out the lens, teaching you the f-stops. What is an f-stop? If a lens is having an f-stop 1, what does it mean? I'm talking about real modules. I'm not just talking about on and off of a camera and then you
yeah,
shoot and then you go and edit. I'm talking about stuff, if you want to shoot a horror movie, which lens to use and which lighting to use. If you want to shoot comedy and you want something fast paced, which lens and which camera to use. So we're giving them those skills. It is not just, as I said, on and off of a camera. So New Horizon is focusing on that. And the board members are all women. I'm the only man in the board member. One of the board members is man, which is only me. The rest is women.
and I'm I that because I feel like men are taking too much space already. So if there's a possibility, man, all women, please. I know it's very feminist. Yes. So you mentioned drug addicts, and I'm assuming criminals as well, because my next question was going to
Yeah.
be, what because I'm sure this is in as much as it's a skills development thingy in amongst people themselves,
Mm,
I'm sure
mm,
community development initiative as well. So like
mm.
what effect, like what impact do you have on the community? Like you said, Bana, even drug addicts and stuff like that.
Mm. Yeah, we do referrals for the special cases. If a participant is a drug addict or is an alcoholic, addicted in alcohol, or to alcohol, we refer those people. We ask them
Mm,
and have a conversation with them. Okay, Mamela Gemfetu, we see that you want to get away from drugs. Can I refer you to this social worker? They'll refer you to Bosasa. There they deal with drug addicts and all of that. They will help you to overcome this addiction
right.
while we are
And
also doing so. It is not just, yeah, it is not just giving them skills and let them go. It is like looking into their lives as well, especially
uh,
the special needs, and say, okay, let's go to the drug workshop, together and see what they say there about drugs. How can we help you? It's in that perspective. For an example, without using a lot of your time, there's a project that we did. It ended last month with CDI. Um, we collected artists in Mitchell's Plain, and then we had to produce a production. So first we had to research the story about Mitchell's Plain and all of that, and then create a piece or a production regarding that, the research that we have. So most of the people that were there were addicted in alcohol, but most
mm,
of them, they've let go of that because of that program. So they didn't spend more time now sitting, at the sun with friends and all of that drinking, but they had mandate, they had deadlines, to meet. Yeah, they had rehearsals, they had, all these things that were waiting for them. and then they ended up, shifting and detaching themselves from those habits, the bad habits they had. And they're asking me each and every day, that Jeff, when are we going to do another project? I said, no, wait a little bit, guys. And in that project, they were paid monthly. They had salaries that they were paid by IDC, I think, and CDI. So it is not only doing art, but it is also reshaping the minds of young people, showing them the good perspective of life. Your existence can influence another generation while you are gone. You are dead 200 years later, but your influence might be there. You never know. So we put human beings first and then art. That's how simple I can put it like that. We don't ignore the challenges they have. We don't ignore the unemployment, and even the people that we work or that are working with us, the facilitators, they are from the communities. They are qualified and they are unemployed. So we're creating some job creation as well on that regard.
Yeah.
So it is not only on just train them and create very good up to standard filmmakers. We are saying let them be human while they are filmmakers, and also let them appreciate life. The spark of life has to be appreciated, so that at the end of the day, whatever they're producing later, it will be inspired by how they look at life and also how they look at themselves.
Wow. Talk about changing lives. Talk about changing lives. So if I'm not mistaken, so you said there is no age limit, I suppose. Well, there is an age limit because
Yeah.
from
Mm.
13 until you're 150, if you're lucky to live to 100.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
okay. So what are the requirements? Is there a payment? Do I have to pay if I, let's say, want to now be part of the program? Is there a payment? Is it
No,
free?
there
Is
is no
it?
payment. Yeah, it's
Oh,
free. It's free of charge.
it's
It's free of charge. It's an
fun.
NPO. It's free of charge. However, the young people said, that Jeff, why don't you have a joining fee? So that the people can also invest on your
And not
organization. Let's say 100 rand. You know, let's give you
that
100 rand. And I say, I have,
big. I'm sorry to cut
you
you, but
know.
I'm thinking Omnia Umdu could be bored and decide, you know what, film production sounds nice. Let me just go try my luck, and then I get it, and then just waste your time
Mm,
as and stuff like that. But if Umdu Yazvana, you know what, I invested 100 rand into this. I need
mm,
because I
mm.
mean, but yeah.
Yeah, we did raise that with the board even way before the young people raised it. We at the start we didn't want to we just wanted to see if, or we want to see if this thing works. We want to give it a little bit of more time, because we do get funding from other companies
Mhm.
regarding this project. However, the board said, Jeff, let's discuss it and see how it goes. But you don't just get in. We interview you. We
Mm,
find out about you. What do you understand about filmmaking? I don't understand anything. Okay, what do you love about filmmaking? So we have that process as well. We don't just say, you are interested in filmmaking, come. No, there will be disorder there. We need to sit down with them and say, okay, listen, what aspect in filmmaking that you like? There's writing, there's directing. Which aspect you would like to develop? No, I like directing. What do you understand about directing? What is
yeah,
directing? You know, yeah. So that we see, Ugut, sometimes a person might think you are in love with filmmaking because you love movies. But when it comes to work and producing that, and you have to sit down and create a storyboard, you might say, I didn't sign up for this. Maybe I loved movies, but not filmmaking. So
mm,
we notice, Uguti, most of the times people love movies than being
yeah,
filmmakers, and then most of them we don't accept them, but we accept those who have a vision. People who have a vision and objective. That in 10 years' time I want to see this in my community through filmmaking. That's the category. However, it is free, and also we have no age that we say no, you are old, you can't. But the most young people, it has to be 13, or between 13 and 14. The 12
okay,
and the pre-adolescents, we don't take those.
okay, understandable.
Mm.
So how many students are you currently working with approximately?
We
Because that I caught.
approximately, I had 200 at the beginning, but the number, the COVID is man kakhulu. We
I'm
had
sure.
200 in the beginning, and then almost all of them didn't come back. Some of them, they are late. Some of them, let's say most of them, they are late, and we had to start from scratch.
Mm,
But currently, I think we have run about 65 to 70. 65, yeah,
mm.
65 to 70. We're working together with Zokofa Media, with the same students. So Zokofa Media gives them another perspective, and Liku Creation, not Liku Creation, New Horizon gives them another perspective regarding filmmaking. So we can say 70, but we want to aim more, but we don't want to aim unreasonably more, because now we don't have the same gear we had.
Mm.
They were stolen, they were broken, and all of those things. So we're still
Okay.
trying to get our feedback, but we want to have as more creative students as possible.
Wow. But no, 70 is quite a large number. But do you have these classes every day, or is it like on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and does everyone come in on the same day, or are they grouped?
It's They are grouped. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah, they
Oh,
are grouped. We can't have them all of them the same day. We will be
over.
bad. Um, yeah, we'll overwhelm ourselves. So yes, it's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But currently, for this year, especially after the CDI project, we have not resumed yet, because of
Okay.
these films that we are busy with Liku Creations. I think the trainings again, I'm going to do them, let's say, from next year. I'm going to leave
Oh,
these few months, because we only see in last month from that other project, yeah, yes, CDI. So now we are trying to look at Liku Creations projects, and then New Horizon again will resume from January until December next year, and so forth.
right. Usually, how long is the person on the program until you can see about, okay, this person is ready, you can spread your wings and fly? How long is the program?
The program is 6 months, Yona. Ne?
Is it?
6 months. However, it's also mingled with the holiday programs. It's also mingled with the holiday programs, where we just give assignments, and produce. We don't teach at that time of school holidays. We just say, okay, here's a camera, create something. We want to see what you can do, what you've learned, and all of that. So 6 months, we let them sit with us for 6 months, but we wanted a year, because we wanted to push them very hard and see what we can get, because I saw how China and South Korea and other countries are doing. Hey, they are pushing their children, those guys. You see,
Yeah.
abantwana going extra mile in robotics. Umntana abuye, not late kakulu, but a child comes back late and exhausted, but there's information in that child's mind. There's, Damdana Ngoku knows how to create a robot. That is why later in China, when they've grown up, they invent these 3D printing machines. You don't even know when they've learned these things. They've pushed them while they were very young, up to the limit.
Yeah.
Because Galok, we have to understand, Ingondo Yomdan is like a sponge. If you don't push it to the limit, it's gonna remain in that not being pushed. So if you're pushing that child to the limits, the brain or the mind will be used into pushing than to just sit, and expect. But pushing and pushing and pushing. Uti Einstein, education is not for wealth, but education teaches you how to think. So we want
Mm,
them to know how to think, when they are acquired this skill. What do you think of your skill? Think, sit down. What are you going to do with it? How are you willing to change the world if you are a filmmaker? So that's why in the city, it is more on philosophy. So we're pushing them to the limits in that regard as well.
mm. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That is a lot. But I think that brings, oh, actually no, I wanted to say I command you, and I'm glad that you said, Bana, you just give after some lessons, of course, you give them a camera and then you say, hey, this is a camera, produce something for me. Like that is the best way a person can learn, because I also remember when I learned how to drive, my mom was like, okay, Gena Emodweni, I'm here next to you, learn how to
Koba.
drive. You know,
Yeah.
and then I said next to her, and then she was like, okay, she was like, no, get a steering and then do your thing. I'm teaching you. This is how I'm teaching you. I think
Mm.
being practical rather than theoretical, and I feel like that is the problem with South Africa and its education system. It's based on
Mm.
so much theory. There's so much
Mm.
theory in our studies that the practical aspect, they forget that when you get to work, obviously you need the theory, you need the understanding, but to what degree, to what extent do we actually learn how to do these things? You understand? But I guess that brings us to the end of our podcast. It was a very fruitful one. I had a feeling. I really, really had a gut feeling. I'm a very intuitive person. My intuition
Mm.
just told me that this one is going to be a good one. And yes,
Aye.
so I don't know if you have anything else to say before I do my closing regards.
No, not much. So I might thank you with the platform as well. Keep on doing what you are doing. I know, I think I know you know as well what I'm going to say, that journalists are suppressed in all corners.
Right.
Journalists are suppressed in all corners. If you are a journalist and you bring the truth, you'll be regarded as a conspiracy, theorist, or you'll be labeled. There will be a red flag on you because of how things are run in the world. So what I'm trying to say to some is that follow your passion, and I'm glad that you create these kind of platforms. Young people are so afraid to bring these platforms, bazise phambili, but I'm thankful and honored that I have such a beautiful lady with such a great mind to have this kind of a platform and speak about these things.
Oh, wow.
So keep it up, Siswam. There will be thorns, definitely. There will be thorns as you go along as a journalist, but don't let go of that banner. Keep it burning. That baton, pass it on, so that Nati at the end of the day, we still go to,
Can
we
be,
still have humans around us, that
can be
stand for the
represented.
truth. Mm.
Definitely.
Yes.
That's what I strive for, to just represent my people. Like it's a
Mm.
calling, it's a passion as well. But
Mm.
I'm a very emotional person, guess, and I don't want to be emotional. But
Oh
thank you so
God.
much. I've learned a lot about you. Because a person doesn't really have to say much for you to get a peek of the kind of person that they are. I can tell you're a good sport, you're a good person. So continue doing what you're doing. May Liku Creations grow, and New Horizon, and is it? Oh my gosh, it's
Well,
cook and it's bread and coal. It's
oh,
what and
bread
coal?
and cold, yeah. Bread
Bread
and
and
cold,
coal.
yes, you are right.
Oh,
Yeah.
may it be a success. May it be a
Thank
success.
you very
Yes,
much.
that was Lutando Jeff. He does not want to go into Jeff. He was here today. He's an aspiring filmmaker. He's a lot of things. Like I said, I jotted it down actually. He's a musician, facilitator, an actor, a writer as well, which is very important. I should have mentioned that in the beginning as well. He's a writer and a philosopher. He likes to
Mm.
describe himself as a philosopher. But thank you once again for having us on this podcast. I'm looking forward to all the work that you'll be doing. I'm sure it will be amazing. You are a very smart and creative individual. I can just tell by the way you present
Thank you.
yourself and present your work. So that brings us to the end of our podcast. Kwezi guys, Mjuza, the podcast is Data and Debate, but like I said, there is no data today, there is no debate. It was just a conversation and basically a profiling of Liku Creations and New Horizons. So from me, Crazy Guys and Juza, that is all. Till next time.